Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be out here in my backyard and greeting you, bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing to look inwardly to discover your identity to be your divinity. Now, I want to speak to you today concerning how to increase your spiritual IQ. And we all need to be more intelligent in life, especially when you come to realize that what we were taught as little children, it was all a lie. So one of the very first thing you have to come to realize if you're going to increase your spiritual IQ is that you must understand that you are not a human being trying to be spiritual, but instead you are a spirit having a human experience. So human is just the experience, but spirit is your identity. Therefore, you have to understand that if you're going to worship God, which means to adore, to embrace, to believe, to accept your higher self, you have to understand that God is a spirit and that you must worship Him in spirit and in truth, which means you must have the right understanding of spirit and the spirit world and the truth of who you are, why you're here, where you come from, and where you are going. Now, one thing that is very important if you're going to increase or raise your spiritual IQ is that you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. And to reprogram your subconscious mind, you have to go all the way back and see what kind of family that you really came from, your mother, your father, and see what kind of mindset they have, and realize they conceive you in that kind of mindset, and they would have taught you what they would have known also. Therefore, certain things are downloaded in your DNA. So you have to go and reprogram that programming that has been downloaded within you. Because the first 7 to 8 years of your life was a time of programming, where your subconscious mind was wide open because you're born in this world in the state of amnesia, which is a state of forgetfulness. So you didn't know that you existed when you were a month old, 2 months old, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. You know, all this time you didn't know that you existed. And so everything that you were taught, you believe it and you never question it. So you have to revisit your childhood and you have to realize that those things that they were all a lie, that you were lied to, not deliberately, because many of our parents, they didn't know better. And so if you grew up in the same kind of culture like me, whereby your parents would have taught you to believe in a God outside of yourself, and to believe in a God in the sky, and to believe the scripture as literal and as secular history, I have good news for you that would be able to help you to reprogram your subconscious mind and re-educate your subconscious mind so that you can lift your spiritual IQ. Now, the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. For the Bible, it is not literal, neither is it secular history as it was taught to us. The whole text, it was written symbolically, and it has no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago or to any actual event that took place on earth thousands of years ago. From Genesis 1 to Revelation 22, it's all a great psychological drama. It all addresses the human psyche, and I'm speaking from experience. Now, my brother and my sisters, hadn't it been that I would have lifted my vibration by practicing mindful thinking and breathing, doing things like yoga and eating a more balanced diet and doing general exercise also, drinking pure water from the earth. All these things were things I did to raise my vibration. And that is why, without a shadow of a doubt, I can tell people that the water system around the world has been poisoned by the chemical to calcify your pineal gland, okay, and to keep it sterile or to keep it locked down. It's like scales been put over your eye, and those scales must remove from your eye. Because, for example, when I had my experience when I was 30 years of age, where I met the burning bush that wasn't consumed, and that light, that hail of light passed across my face, things fell from my eye as if it was scales, and a voice said to me, "It is for your eyes." Okay? And I start seeing a whole new world. I start seeing another world. And start hearing voices speaking to me, and even see a man that looks like me. Okay? I don't want to go into all of it right now. And from time to time I keep lifting my vibration, not knowing that I was actually increasing my spiritual intelligence. I think IQ is intelligence quarter, something like that. But that's what I was doing. I was basically lifting my intelligence. Okay? Now, when you start changing the way you think and the way you see life, because you come to realize that the system of the world wants you to conform, but you need to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Therefore, you have to be more open-minded, and you can't be one-track-minded. When you come to realize that you have to learn to listen, and you have to learn to think for yourself, and you have to measure something to see if it makes sense or not, you come to realize that the more open-minded you are, is the more things that you can discover in this life about yourself, about the world you live in, and about others also. So, reprogramming your subconscious mind is a very, very good way to lift your spiritual IQ. And so, things like repeating affirmation, scripting is very, very, very important. Going before the mirror every morning and every night and speaking to yourself is very important to reprogram your subconscious mind so you can live your spiritual IQ. Having the right understanding of the Bible, knowing that it is not literal, neither is it secular history, is very, very important. Understanding how thoughts work, knowing that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, and that a thought is a vibrational frequency is very important. To be very mindful of your thoughts, to be the policeman of your thoughts, to guard your thoughts throughout the day. to understand, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's very important to remember that if you're going to lift your spiritual IQ. Now, the next thing is that you have to practice mindful breathing every day. For you're told that God breathed the breath of life into man, and man became a living soul. This body is the visible soul. And the invisible you is the invisible body. The soul is the invisible body, and the body is the visible soul. So you must exercise this body, so you must exercise the soul by mindful breathing. So practice breathing every day, deep breathing. Or I've done a video before teaching you how to go about this kind of breathing. Practice it every day. Have oxygenated blood going through your body every day. That is why it's very important to take a walk out in nature. Take off your shoe, for where you're standing is holy ground. Be connected. There's a sun above you, there's a sun in you, and there's a sun beneath you. Be connected. You are electrical and you are magnetic. You don't want to black off the circuit. You want to have the circuit of electricity going around you all the time. You want that currency. That is why money is currency. If you're going to increase your wealth, you have to have that free flow of currency, understanding your true wealth. So practice mindful breathing. Then meditation. You have to meditate to eradicate poverty. I wrote a book called Meditate to Eradicate Poverty. You have to practice meditation every day. Now, that is why the system have put things in place to keep you so busy. Throughout our lives, we were kept so busy in school. And in school, they make sure to have that programming going on in our subconscious mind. Well, in my country for sure, in the morning, we have to have devotion. And then at afternoon, you have to say prayers before lunch. And when you get back in class, you have to give thanks again. And you're always giving thanks to God outside of yourself. And you're always saying in the name of Jesus Christ, which is actually idolatry. And then in the evening, before you go home, you have to get that final programming to go home, saying your prayers before you go home again to a God outside of yourself. And then when you go home again, your parents in the night before you go to bed, they have you praying to a God outside of yourself. And then when you finish school, you get caught up in the rat race because you left school with an employee mentality. They never teach you about finances in school, about money. So just as you would need to develop your spiritual IQ, you would have to develop your financial IQ also. And so if they block your spiritual IQ, they block your financial IQ also, because you will never know true wealth. You will never know true riches. You will never know that your true economy is your mentality. So the programming that we receive must be destroyed. That software, it must be deleted. So you gotta delete all of that. You gotta put it in the rubbish bin. You see, when you look at the computer is a replica of a man. It has a rubbish bin. When you want to delete something, we have to delete the old programming. The programming that we receive from our mother, our father, our brother, our sisters, our uncles. You got to delete that programming completely. And you have to upload a new software. And the new software that you're going to upload must be the understanding or the self-revelation of who you are. If you should give it a name, it must be self-knowledge or self-awareness, self-consciousness, the awakening, enlightenment, higher self, the highest version of myself. So you have to be on another level of thinking. Therefore, the intellect must go in terms of holding to the things that you were taught in school as an absolute. Because most people who are intellectual, they reason on things that were taught to them, but nothing from their own experience. Now, we were taught in school history, which is other people's story. Now you have to have your own story, your own experience. Now you're going to live life based on your experience, based on what you would have seen work for you. Because education, as in academic education, whereby you've been programmed to just be an employee, has never really worked to bring anyone to become a multi-millionaire or a billionaire. I've never seen a policeman, a nurse, and I'm not saying that these people are not important. I'm just drawing a reference. A teacher. I've never seen any one of these people become multi-millionaire or billionaire based on the 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 job that they've been doing. Okay? But those who have become entrepreneurs and those who have discovered their gifts and their talents and have used their gifts and their talents to influence society, those are the ones who have become multi-millionaires and billionaires, and because they've been giving more value to humanity. So based on how much value you give and humanity is how much you would also receive. You know, I can go on and on with you, but you know, sometimes when you live close to other people who do not give any regard to others, you know, they would put on their music and they would turn up their music loud and so on. So sometimes you cannot be as productive as you want to be right where you're living, and so sometimes you definitely have to change your environment, and that's one thing I have to do. I have to change my environment and live in another environment, because there are other environment where you wouldn't hear anything like this. And to be honest with you, you know, the person of whom I'm speaking about, and you know, I'm so grateful that he haven't turned up the music any more louder, because a while from now he might be turning it up even more louder. You know, is actually the poorest person actually in the whole community. Okay, and you see, poverty is definitely a mindset, you see. So my brother and my sisters, with that kind of noise, you know what I mean, and I would have spoken to him over and over, he would not listen. And that is what it is, you know, to teach you and to help you, that the environment that you're around, it's to teach you also that you have to lift your vibration to another level altogether and change your whole environment also to live in other places. I know the places that I'm gonna actually move to and live, where there wouldn't be any noise or anything like that, would have such a people who are such a low frequency, also a low vibration. So I will have to cut this video very short, and I promise you I will continue some other time with the same teaching of lifting your spiritual IQ to another level. So with that, I say, my brother and my sisters, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to continue to encourage you to believe in yourself and to continue to lift your vibration to move to another level, whereby you would be able to even give more value to humanity. So I'm going to cut this video short by saying thank you, love you, peace, I'm out.